Hi, it's Carter Man. It is Tuesday. And today I want to kind of do a victory lap, okay? We all occasionally like to be able to say, I told you so. And actually, I think I have a paramount right to say I told you so to all my friends who were wrong about Volodymyr, whatever his first name is, Zelensky. Okay? You may recall, those of you who follow me regular, right from the very beginning, I said, this is not a good man. This is not someone that you should trust. This is not someone who should be allowed to force an entire nation into war, okay? But I had friends who put up the yellow and blue flag, and Zelensky, he is. Someone made me agree with the mainstream media after he made his speech in his dirty uniform there over at the Capitol. That this is another Churchill. Zelensky, Bastion Bakhmut. No, he was not another Churchill. In the beginning, that was obvious. So you might say, well, how did you know, Carter, that this guy was such a absolute grifter and a rogue character that was so vile? Well, several reasons. One is you should not be too, overwhelmed with a guy who has made his living as a porno comedian and whose best gag is playing the piano with his penis. Okay? Probably not a great recommendation for a international leader, another Churchill. I never recall Churchill playing the piano at all, let alone with his member. So, porno comedians who, are just filthy. They belonged at where, when I was a kid in Baltimore, we had the Gaiety Burlesque. We would have never made any of the burlesque comedians the president of a country. So that's number one. Number two, you can judge a person by the company he keeps. Who are his closest allies? Well, there's Toxic Joe Biden. Folks, let me just say this. If you found yourself befriended by a narcissistic sociopath like Toxic Joe Biden, you need to do a little soul searching, okay? And say, what's wrong with me that I attract that kind of character? And because you tell a guy by the friends he makes, and that's Zelensky, bosom buddy there, hug each other when they meet, the whole thing. Then another one of his great supporters, Victoria Nuland. First of all, there's something wrong with a grown woman who seems to be allergic to showering regularly, okay? I mean, if she got any more grease in her hair, she could fry eggs with it. I mean, horrible. And I'm sorry, I'm just telling you, there's something wrong with someone like that. There's also something wrong with a person that looks like she hasn't missed a meal since the Last Supper, okay? I'm sorry, you can judge people at least a little bit by the way they take care of themselves, and you wouldn't trust them to determine who should live and die, which is what she has done in the Ukraine for her buddy Zelensky. So that's number two. Then you got the Bopsy twins there, Blinken and Jake Sullivan. There's a serious testosterone shortage there, okay? Very serious. They are, I say it, the little girly men who have plunged a country into a war, cost 400,000 lives, so that they can be butch. I mean, be butch. let me put it this way. Those of you who are guys like me, I grew up playing baseball on the hard scrabble sand lots of Baltimore City, okay? And those of you who play baseball, think about it for a second. Yeah, we used to pick up before the game. You toss the bat back and forth. You just, okay, I got clues, you got wink, etc. There were some guys that before you even did it, you said, hey, you got Smith. Okay. Yeah. Blinken and Sullivan. You can have both of those on your team. Okay. Sissy boys. And so what do to prove their manhood? They toss other people into a meat grinder. Zelensky, and they support Zelensky. So Nuland, Blinken and Sullivan, toxic Joe Biden, and there's one other, of course, Nancy Pelosi. I'm just looking up some quotes for her. This is the woman who said that she liked Zelensky because of his, are you ready for this quote? On one of her floor speeches, his unyielding commitment to keeping alight democracy's precious flame. Excuse me? Plastiface Nancy loves Zelensky because of his commitment to keeping alight democracy's precious flame. Another one of Zelensky's supporters, and that leads me to another problem I had with him from the start. It was kind of obvious to me from the start, the guy was a little dictator, okay? Little midget dictator. And now everybody knows it. Number one, he called off the October election for president. We're going to have an election during a war. Really, that's the time you do need an election. In case you might want to vote the president out who's plunged into war. So he took care of that. No election for you. No. And now he's taken it a step further. This is what prompted this spiel. You may have noticed he announced earlier this week that, okay, we will have elections next year if you give me $5 billion. Excuse me? Yeah. He's trying to shake down America. We've already spent around $500 billion on their war. Shake us down for $5 billion for him to have an election. That's democracy. That is a modern day Churchill? I don't think so. And you have to say, and I'll finish with this, where's the $5 billion going to go? Well, some of it he'll probably spend on some weapons if he can find them. It's harder and harder for him to buy weapons since everybody's running out. He's used them so poorly. But we know where he loves to spend the money he's ripped off, and he has ripped it off. Burns, the head of the CIA, said, remember when he went over and said, Vlad, there's $400 million missing. I have a list here of the people who stole it, and your name's at the top. Okay? Well, I guess his name is at the top for ripping off money, and I think it's some idea what he wants to do with the $5 billion. I think Atlantis County has 4 mansions around the world. Miami Beach, I think that one's valued in the 20 million range. Gorgeous penthouse in London. Another plush digs in Paris. I think Switzerland. And then just last week we found out he's bought yet another mansion in Egypt. There you go. A man's got to have some place to live. Well, not the 400,000 men you've sent to their deaths, Zelensky, in a war that never had to be fought had you not joined up with your supporters, Toxic Joe, Nuland, the Joy Boys, Blinken and Sullivan, and Plastiface Nancy, to instigate. Had you not while Putin said, can we talk about this? Can we please talk? I don't want, having nuclear armed bases on our border. Can we talk about it? And instead, Zelensky teamed up with his buddies and said, no, let's have a war. Because after all, none of them were going into battle. Unfortunately, 400,000 Ukrainian young people did, and they're now dead. So that is why I'm taking a victory lap that I wish I never had to take, but we need to pull the support from this guy, pull the rug out from under him, and let that country have a leader who will sue for peace and end that pogrom over there. That's it.